Multi-step equation that distributes property.
It's not what mine says. Does your do it look like that?
No.
Uh-oh.
How to solve one variable in terms of the other.
Wait, whoa.
Well, let me see.
That's what mine says. Mine says about chat.
Hold it. Let me see what your do it looks like.
4B. 4B.
Oh, we're on 4B. Okay, that's the problem. Not a problem. We're on 4B. I thought we were on 5 for today. 4B. Okay. Well, you know what? I can work off of putting stuff from the sheet up here. I think we're going to be okay. And I think it's actually on the other sheet. So we'll just improvise a little bit today, and sometimes you got to do that. All right. Now, let me make sure my pen's working right because I had a little bit of an issue before. Okay. It seems to be that we're working well. So the first thing I want to do is talk about the quiz. So let's get the quiz out. We'll go through that. And then I do stand corrected. We are going to go over the first in a series of, I should say the last in a series of multi-step equation type of things. So here's what we have going on today. The first question from the quiz says, let D be the chance you have of having the same DNA as another person other than a twin. D is 1 in 9.1 trillion. And it says to write this as a fraction. So if I'm going to write this as a fraction, it's got to be 1 over and then 9.1 trillion. Now, here's how it works. Ready? That's thousands. I'm now up to millions. I'm now up to billions. Oh, I need a little more room. Again, that 1,000, million place I'm now at, billions place, and now I'm at trillions. So it's 9 comma 100, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So that's what belongs on the bottom here. So it's 1 over that mess. And that is an example of what as a fraction, 1 in 9.1 trillion looks like. Okay? So that was the first part of the question. Now, the next part, letter H, says, write a fraction is a denominator with a power of 10. So that's another way of saying scientific notation. So check it out. 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's, the denominator says write the denominator. So it's 9.1 times 10 to the 12th. And that is what the denominator is. Remember, it doesn't say the fraction. It says just the denominator. Write the denominator. So that is the denominator. 9.1 times 10 to the 12th. Any question on that?
10.
And the last part is write the fraction using a negative exponent. Oh, I'm sorry. Letter H says write the fraction with the denominator. So it's 1 over 9.1 times 10 to the 12th. And then it says to take this. So this is just as a fraction. This is as a fraction with denominator as a power of 10. And the last thing they asked us to do is now to just write this fraction in scientific notation using a negative exponent. So because it's 1 over, isn't that reciprocal?
Sir.
Right? And doesn't reciprocal mean negative exponent?
Yes.
You with me on that? Right? Like if I said to you, negative exponent.
Reciprocal, sir.
That's right. So it's 1 over 3 to the 2. So if I notice this and I want to write it with a negative exponent, well, that's the 1 over part. So it's just 9.1 times 10 to the negative 12. And that is it written with a negative exponent. Okay? Now, the hardest question on the quiz by far was what we just did. One person in the class got it right. Everybody else got it wrong. And one person got part credit on it.
Wait.
Okay? So, that was by far the most difficult question. Now, if you take a chance to study that tonight, I think you'll be in really good shape. Knowing where the trillions go, knowing where the billions go, the millions, knowing how to express 9.1. I think if you can handle that, you should be in really good shape. Now, numbers 2, A, and B are questions that we've done a lot of work with, and I think we should be pretty good at these. But I think we also could have done better than we did on the quiz. Now, first off, high marks to Marco, who is trying to do it the right way. You're not there yet, but you're getting there.
Thank you.
Some others, Kevin, Alan,
Yes?
you're still trying to substitute numbers in. It's not gonna work. It's never gonna work the more complicated we get. When we keep them simple, you can get away with it that way.
Trying.
No, you're not.
Hardest.
No, you're definitely not. And I can prove it to you very easily. If I said that I will give you $500
Okay.
if you can learn how to do it the right way by tonight,
1 month?
would you work just a little bit harder? Tell the truth.
Yep.
Absolutely. Kevin, same with you. So, the truth of the matter is, you're not working your hardest, and you need to step it up a little bit. And the way we're gonna do that is as follows. First, when I see a number outside parentheses, what always pops into my head to do?
6.
Well, what's the word that we use to describe that? Starts with a D? Hey, look in here, Jalen, hand the game. What do I do here with the 3 outside the parentheses? What do I always do, everybody?
Distribute.
Distribute. Good. So I'm gonna distribute the 3, and I'm gonna get 6x minus 12 minus 3x equals 9. Now, this brings about the first mistake that I saw a lot of kids make. Take a look at your paper. Look at your step right here. Lots of kids wrote 6x minus 4.
Yeah, I got them.
If you put 6x minus 4, what was your mistake?
You didn't multiply, not you?
Yeah, when you did 3 times 2x, you did that right. But when it came to do the 3 times the negative 4, you just skipped right over that. And you just rewrote the negative 4. So don't make that mistake. All right? Kevin, Alan, I'm sure that you're copying down each step that I do now so that when you go home tonight and prepare, you'll be able to have a model to follow from. Okay?
I use instrument.
That's good. Copy this down. Now, once I write this out, is this a same side? Oh, minus 3x, good. Is this a same side situation or is it an opposite side situation?
Same side.
Same side.
Same up.
So I have 6x and negative 3x, same side,
Same
Same
operation.
operation.
same operation. What is 6x's and negative 3x's?
6, 2, 3.
3x's. Minus 12 equals 9. Now, I want you to take a look at your paper again, and I want to ask you something. As you look at your paper, did you do plus 3x and plus 3x?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
A couple of people did that. That's a mistake. The reason it's a mistake is because they're on the same side. If the x was on the opposite side of the equal sign, like the one in blue over here, then you would do that. But because it's on the same side of the equal side, same operation. 6x minus 3x is 3x. Now, notice the numbers are on opposite sides, so I want to do plus 12, plus 12. God bless. Again, opposites. Minus 12, so I do plus 12. 3x equals 21, dividing by 3. X is 7. We were pretty good on that one. I hope we get better, but it really wasn't ridiculously bad. What I like about your paper, Marco, is a week ago, you weren't even trying this way. And now you are trying, and you're still not perfect. But as long as you continue to do what you're doing, which is, oh man, I forgot the 4. Or I did that, but it didn't quite work out right. Each day you're gonna make less and less mistakes so that in 2 or 3 days you'll get them right. The problem is, some of you guys are trying to substitute numbers in here. And the more complicated they get, the less possible it is to substitute numbers and come up with the correct answer. I don't even want to say the less possible, the less likely it is. Okay? All right, so now let's take a look at the one over here. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation? Opposite. Opposite side? Opposite operation. So this is a, what kind of x is this here?
It's positive.
It's positive. That negative sign belongs to the 20, not the x. So I do minus x, and I get 4x plus 8 equals negative 20. I was really happy in grading your quizzes, Michael. I was very happy to see that there were lots of negative 20s. Not many people just wrote positive 20. So that was really good. A couple of people wrote 6x here. That's a big mistake because you have to do the opposite of the x, which is minus x. This negative sign here has nothing to do with the x. It belongs to and refers to the 20. Okay, So the next step is to do -8, and this is the big problem I found on this question. I didn't touch the 4x, kids wrote 4x equals, and then kids saw the -20, and then they put the -8, and then they were putting 12. It's -28 is right. Look, I have 20 negatives, and I have 8 more negatives. If I had 20 shirts and 8 more shirts, what would I have?
28.
28 shirts. If I had 8 pens and 20 more pens, what would I have?
28.
28 pens. So if I have 20 negatives and 8 more negatives, altogether I have 28 negatives. Now I divide by 4, and x equals -7. And that's the correct answer. You know, there are only 2 reasons that I can think of to get this question wrong, and to continue to try to substitute numbers in.
Why do you think of -10? I mean,
It was worth 40, so don't worry about it. Now, there's only 2 reasons why I can think of for kids to do this, or to not do this, and to try to substitute numbers in and so on and so forth. The first possibility is that you're lazy, and you just don't want to try. If that's the case, I feel really, really bad for you, because eventually you're going to have to learn to overcome your laziness. And if you learn it now in math class, it's relatively painless. You might say, oh yeah, but I don't feel like doing that. Trust me on this one. If you don't learn it now with something as simple as 8th grade math, you're going to have to learn it when you're older. In more, oh no. This is way simpler than life. And I'll give you a great for instance. No, here's a great for instance. My older son, Bobby, right now my younger son, Jimmy, he's substituting for Mrs. Lau. My older son, Bobby, he just refused to get certain life lessons. And it caused him so much pain in terms of money, in terms of aggravation, in terms of frustration. They took his license away, they did all these other things, that when he finally figured it out and started doing things the right way, it cost him 4 or 5 years of income and driving and a bunch of other things. And he would look at you and say, man, he just made such a big mistake. So if you stop being lazy now and swear to yourself, I am going to overcome being lazy. Laziness is not part of my character. I'm going to start doing this the right way. If you do that, it's so much less painful than if you insist on trying to be lazy and still get by. If you insist on that, you are going to suffer big time. Yeah, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're a kid. And I'm not saying that my expectation for you is unreasonable. What I'm saying to you is this. It's for your own good that you learn this. Because in the end of the day, if you stay late, the longer you stay lazy, the more painful it will be to be lazy. And the quicker you get past being lazy, the less painful it'll be, and the more successful you'll be.
no, we can't be lazy when we're older because we gotta take care of things.
Yeah, but what laziness is a habit. Laziness is not something that you turn on and off. You can't like be lazy until you're 20, and all of a sudden say, "Oh, I'm not lazy anymore." You're so used to being lazy that that's your habit, and then, as they say, habits are hard to break. Okay, so it would be very difficult. Now, so laziness is one option. The second option is that it's more a matter of will, that you just don't want to do it. Now, back there I have a quote hanging on the wall, and it's from a fantastic book called Out of the Silent Planet. Out of the Silent Planet was, you can't read it from here, it's kind of at a bad angle. Out of the Silent Planet was written by C.S. Lewis. Do you know what other books C.S. Lewis wrote? He wrote a ton of great books. There's one that you probably watched the movie of that you really liked. Most kids liked it.
Hangover?
No, not a chance. The Narnia Tales?
I don't know what that is.
Anybody see the movie Narnia Tales with Aslan and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Right? Really, really good series of movies. C.S. Lewis wrote this book called Out of the Silent Planet, and in the book, a linguist from Earth gets taken in a spaceship. He gets kidnapped, and he goes to this planet, and the planet is very different than Earth. And on the planet, there are some people who are trying to harm the society and to pollute the society. And there's a perfect being up there, kind of an angel, And the angel's name is Oyarsa. And the great gift that Oyarsa has is he, she, whatever, has the ability to judge the intent of someone. And there's a point where the guy that gets kidnapped, his name is Ransom, and he's got to do this thing. And he makes some mistakes along the way, but he's trying to do the right thing. And sometimes he's scared of doing the right thing. He fears he won't be good enough to succeed. And Oyarsa looks at him and says to him, the only sin you're guilty of is fearfulness. And I never thought of being afraid as a sin. But it really is if you think about it. It says, the only sin you're guilty of is fearfulness. And the journey you are going to go on is either going to be your cure or it's going to make you mad. And back then in the British used mad meaning crazy. And I thought to myself how brilliant that line was. Because when we have something we fear and we don't want to confront this thing that we fear, then we run away from it. And it doesn't go away. Even if there's like a boogeyman in the woods or some animal in the woods making noise, and you run faster and faster and faster, they still know where you are. They're still haunting your every move. So if you've got some things in school that you say to yourself, man, I just don't want to deal with that because I am afraid in my deepest heart of hearts, I'm afraid that I can't get that right and I'm going to look like I'm stupid. Or I'm afraid that I'm going to be a failure. And I don't want to face that fear. If you don't, then the journey you go on trying to run away from that fear is going to do one of two things. Eventually it's going to cure you because you're going to have to confront the fear eventually, or it's going to make you crazy. And that's the truth. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that anymore. Face your fears. Don't be afraid to do this the right way, and don't be afraid to get it wrong. You are never bad because you get a math question wrong. You're only bad if you run away. You're only bad if you don't try your best. All right, so let's take a look at some of the classwork that we have to cover for today.
That's a good idea.
All right?
Really, men left.
Yeah, it's simple stuff. So let's take a look down here now at number 1, which says 2 times 4 minus 2n equals 5n minus 19. Now let's get a chance to review a couple of the ideas we just spoke of. When I see this number outside the parentheses, what do I always do? Multiply. What's that fancy word for multiply? Starts with a D? Distribute. Good. So what's 2 times 4? 8. And what's 2 times negative 2n? Negative 4n. Equals 5n minus 19. And it's at this point where you need to ask yourself, is this a same side situation or is this an opposite side situation? What is it? It's opposite. Always start with the smallest number of n's. Do the opposite, plus 4n to both sides. Kevin, Alan, Marco, notice I haven't guessed a number yet. Die. I'm left with an 8. 5n plus 4n is 9n minus 19. What do I need to do next? Yeah, see, I got to get rid of this minus 19 on the side of the ends. So I do plus 19. Die. What's 8 plus 19? 27. Equals 9n. Now 9n means 9 times n. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. So I divide by 9. And yes, you're right, Al. N is equal to 3.
I don't guess though. Shoot it.
Okay. What's it? Well, while I explain to Marco, you guys try the next one real quick. Now, what was it you don't get?
I said I don't guess.
Oh, but you were last week.
Oh.
All right. And I said you were the one who was starting to come out of that, and that's what I was impressed with. And as you're about to start this, is this a same side situation or an opposite side?
Opposite.
Opposite side, so what do you do?
Opposite operation.
Opposite operation, very good. So who thinks they know the first step here? Alan, what do you think?
Plus 2n.
That's right, very good. I'm gonna add 2n to both sides. You're on your way to getting that $500.
Thank you.
All right, now,
Oh,
what's the only thing left on the left-hand side, everybody?
yeah, let's
6 equals, what's 7n plus 2n?
9n.
9n plus 15, nice. Uni, What do you think the next step is? Minus 15. You got to do opposites. It says plus 15, so make sure you do the opposite and do minus 15. Okay? Now, 6 and negative 15 is negative 9. Equals 9x. Divide by 9. And it is negative 1. Folks, that's our last day of multiple. Well, no, we'll do more on the do-its. Hasta la vista. Vaya con Dios. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao. Arrivederci. Adios, amigos. See you, amigas. Cheerio. Ta-ta. Mr. Gluck, when I look at your test tomorrow, I want to see same side, opposite side, distribute. Got it? The one that you took today?
Yeah.
I think you got an 80 on it. And you won't get it back until everybody's done with their makeup test. So figure like middle next week.
Okay.
Joseph, dial the main office.